And if people don't say what they need because there's a lot of shame and stigma attached to it, um, it would never be addressed. To know where you come from is to know who you are. So, what you expect out of your community and the kind of support that you want, you have to be the first that person to create that first.
So, Beemy, thank you for beaming in from our galaxy to talk to me today.
Thanks for having me. This is not my room, by the way. It's just a picture I stole from online. Yeah, I don't know. I figured I was like, oh, what's a good gamer girl or Twitch streamer background? I'm like, this. You got the
Yeah,
nano lights, you got the gaming chair,
yeah.
uh, LED lights, the setup. Oh, so some gaming posters back there. If there was a if there was a generic gamer look, this would probably be it. Or
Mhm.
streamer look.
Yeah, I mean, you got the DJ lights in the background. I don't know what the name of it is, but definitely reminds me of EDC. Um, well, cool, Beamy. Thank you for joining me today. So usually when I start these, right, I'll announce it saying, "Hey, I'm with the guest, and here's what they are from what I believe they are." In this case, I would have said you're a model, but you said you're not a model, and I said, "Okay, well then you're probably a streamer." And you're like, "No, I'm not that either." I'm like, "Okay, well then, what are you? What? But you're definitely an artist. But like, how do you define yourself in that regard?"
Hmm. That's a good question. I thought about it too. I like leaving it up to uh interpretation. So whoever sees me or gets to know me from one circle, then that's
Mm-hmm.
what they know me as, and I'll let that be up to them what they want to call me.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I don't have anything against labels if people want to identify as that, but that's completely up to them. I just identify. I don't think that I could be called a streamer because I don't do it as often.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can be called a model because I don't get paid to
Okay.
model,
Mm-hmm.
like brands or clothing or whatever it is. So that's why I don't label myself as that. So if I had a label, I think it would just be human.
I mean, technically, yeah. Well, so you have like the Viper sponsorship, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean, that's in some way I would assume. Well, I'm assuming you get paid for that. But like, what? Why would they sponsor you? Like, what are you to them? An influencer?
I think I have a knack with a little bit of like a marketing or kind of promotion work or raising awareness for certain things. That's what I do for my career.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so but the whole thing with Patriot Gaming, Patriot Memory is a brand name that they do like RAM hardware, things like that. They expanded into gaming peripherals.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend AZ, who is in charge of like the marketing for that, asked if he didn't really know too much about the Twitch in the gaming community, and he was like, "Oh, hey, BB, you're familiar with that. Do you want to help us with this?" And I was like, "Okay." And I don't get paid by Viper Gaming, by the way. I do get sponsored with peripherals.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, hey, try this out if you like it. You can give it like a blast, or like, you could um, just let people know what our products are all about, and if you like it." It's very transparent that way. And my friend AZ is awesome. He's never given me a hard time like, oh, could you do this? Can you post this? Could you share this?
Yeah.
It's all very real, and I like that. So I think it's blown up over the last couple of years. I helped him with some brand awareness for it. I guess if you could give it a name.
Mm-hmm.
So in my own circles. So what does gaming have to do with cosplay, and what does gaming have to do with uh, other avenues of what I do.
Yeah.
Um, so we got into the convention world, the anime cosplay convention, um, and really having a presence in that community is something nice. I really like what Viper and Patriot does. They
Mm-hmm.
provide really nice products at a very low price point. So when we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about price point, there's a brand associated with like bigger companies, but their
Mm-hmm.
products are still the same thing. So like you could add lights to it and it'll charge you an extra $50 on top of a mouse. But if you
Okay.
take away the lights, it would be technically just a regular optic mouse.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like your camera. What
Yeah. I
makes
like that.
Yeah. So I really dig that. So anyone that wants to get that professional gamer aesthetic without having to pay for the brand name, they can get Patriot Viper. That's why I like I like that message. So
Yeah.
mhm.
So you just like the brands. This is, by the way, this isn't sponsored by Viper on this podcast, but if they
No,
want to,
it's not.
but
If they
like,
want to,
yeah, it really does sound like you're like really do enjoy the product though. Like at the end of the day, like you are like a genuine champion for it.
I'm a champion for the message. I do. I will disclose that I don't use Patriot like a headset. Like the headset I'm using is HyperX. There's different reasons why I don't use certain items, and I'll let
Uh-huh.
people know that if they're curious as to why.
Mhm.
Um, I do use a lot of their products in my build in my PC as far as like the core gaming like RAM and memory.
Mhm.
I also use their like mouse pad and headstand, things like that, just little things. But I think I have the ability to not be so brand loyal. If there was a That's a thing, people like to with the PC. I'm not sure how well you are. Uh, what do you call? Hmm. Do you game, Chris? That's a
Not
question.
as much as I used to. I used
Okay.
to when I was younger, and then yeah, like now I have a Mac, and I'm very aware I can't do. Like I really want to play Valorant, and it's like, well, I guess I'm a Mac player and I can't do nothing. But I've been playing Doom 2016 a lot. I just got that like
Damn.
years ago, and like I've been really into it.
So if you want to play Valorant, I'm guessing you were a Counter-Strike player before that?
No, well,
Oh.
no.
Hmm.
So I played it. I had
Yeah.
storage like on a really old PC at like no RAM. But the one that I played was like gun game. I was
Oh,
like,
gun
fuck
game
that.
is dope.
Yeah, I just played gun game. And after a while, I was like, okay, whatever. And I found out it was like a big old fucking thing. I'm like, oh, I totally missed the wave. Like Naruto. I didn't watch Naruto. Like it just I was aware of it, but I missed the trend.
That's okay. There's always time. So the reason why I bring this up is because there's a classification with PC gamers being the master race amongst gamers. So it's always console gamers versus PC gamers, right? So like how strong your build is, and we're talking about aesthetics here and brand loyalty. A lot of folks like kind of have this hierarchy. If you have an all Corsair build, or if you have a hype like whatever Viper, Razor Viper. Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
Razor, not Viper. Sorry.
Ooh, yeah.
Um, yeah, so you have to match all your stuff with it just because it looks uniformed and they all work in unison. I can tell you my build is just every brand on there. We have Viper, we have Logitech. I'm looking at my my keyboard, which is Razer. My headset's HyperX. So I don't care as long as the job gets done and I care about the quality of the product.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's dive right back into it anyway, right? It's like that's something I can appreciate. Like, okay, I can appreciate someone that's really into this stuff to that degree. But what is it about like really going all out on your console as a PC in this case? Why is that such a thing? Like why do people get so into it?
Why do people feel, sorry, I think the question was why do people feel so passionately about the brands?
Yeah.
Or,
So it's like I've always had like a cheap PC, so I like never got to get into it. But I
mhm.
like buddies, like my roommates, like they have like the full rainbow keyboards, big giant laptop. And it's like, man, it feels so much, but like I just don't know what it's about. Like I can't understand why because I never knew why. But I never asked them, so I'm gonna ask you. What's so attractive to it?
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's like with any other fandom.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get your question. And thanks for keeping an open mind and wondering why people are such enthusiasts about building their computer and making it so nice and pleasing. Well, you got to consider the fact that people like this is their hobby, right? Gaming, whatever it is, gaming, streaming, watching a streamer, supporting their friends. Maybe they produce music on their computer, so they're going to be spending a large amount of time onto this hobby of theirs. So, like with any other hobby, um, you want to invest in it because you're going to be spending a lot of time. You want to make sure that that's quality time with what you're building. So when I was building a computer, I wanted to make sure things are running. If I'm going to be streaming, I want to make sure that it runs efficiently. Um, and so, that requires a lot of investment, not only financially, but investment into parts, knowing what part goes with what, if it's compatible with a certain motherboard. You're talking about there's a whole like we're talking about like core processors,
Yeah.
which one is the best in the game, what is the best thing about price point wise, like what do you want to build, and well, I could go out and buy like a pre set up rig. A rig
Okay.
is just referring to the tower that I built.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have the specifications that I would like. It's like building a car.
Yeah.
You wanna drive the best car for the best bang for your buck. So let's
Mhm.
say if there's a lot of unnecessary bells and whistles in a pre-built mod
Mhm.
that you don't necessarily need, it's just there, but it drives up the price point. So it's probably better for you to build your computer. And in order to build your computer, you have to really know what goes well with what works with a certain I forget what they're called. But
I believe
what
you.
parts work with what? And then I mean,
Yeah.
if you can add like how you can add lights and stuff like that to it. It just gives it a look like um if you're gonna build it, why not make it nice?
Yeah.
You're gonna be looking at it the whole time. Um, you don't need it. It's just extra. It's just like so. Um, Same thing with keyboards and stuff like that. You can just use a basic one. You don't have to have a nice mouse or anything like that, but it helps with your gaming. So if you're gonna play games and you want to do well in a game, and that's it's all for fun. Like voice chat, I want this to be comfortable. I want to be able to wear it for a certain amount of time before it squeezes my head and I can't play anymore. You want a
Yeah.
comfortable chair that has the best lumbar support because you're going to be sitting here for a long time. You want to make sure that the ergonomics works out for you. Same thing with the mouse too. You want to like have it molded to your certain hand, like like how what the grip you want it on. What sensitivity it has. So the different features on there, even though it's extra,
Yeah.
uh, it complements your type of gameplay and how you use your computer. So that's why a lot of fans get into it. And I'm sorry, I'm totally nerding out, but this is,
No, that's the whole point. You're fine.
yeah,
Just keep.
like,
I'm,
so it's all like extra stuff. It's not like you need it, but if you want to, that's what you do. Like if you like something and you are a fan of it, you're gonna invest time and money and energy into it. So
Mhm.
um, that's why people are go go big or go home with their builds.
Yeah. That's very insightful. I appreciate that. So
Hmm.
is it for like, so if I'm an RPG player, an RTS player, and a shooter, like, do I get a different setup for that type of like gaming? Like
I can't
if
speak too much on RTS gaming or like MOBA gaming.
okay,
There you could because there is a lot of different kinds of mechanical keyboards. You can have ones that are like how well it sounds when you click on it. The different pressure sensitivities are on there. You want like a certain type of like a key like a wired versus a wireless mouse or keyboard has an effect on there too because of the lag that it creates.
I'm
There's
about to
like
say,
a so that is taken into consideration. You also have hand placement too. So depending on the keyboard, do you like it raised? Do you like it flat? Do you like it kind of like curved? I know some people that turn their entire keyboard like vertically. So when they're playing,
yeah,
it's like turned to the side. And so then you have to consider like how big is your desk or your mouse pad. The mouse pad is important too. You have to like zoom in and out depending on what sensitivity you use. You need a certain amount of surface space to accommodate for your mouse movement. Um, that's not always a thing.
yeah,
So, but how well you slide, the weight of the mouse is important also.
okay.
So, I mean, it really depends on what game you're playing, but I don't think you need any specific things. It's what matters is in game and the amount of time and energy you put into it.
So are you like you personally? Are you very competitive when you play, and that's like one reason why you're getting so into it, or is it more just like you appreciate every little detail about it? Like, do you have to be competitive to do this whole setup?
I think you could do both. You could do everything. I appreciate the work that goes behind the scenes in order to make it happen.
Mhm.
I like learning about how the different features of the item and how it goes into your gameplay. So like let's say if I'm watching a streamer and they're doing really well,
Yeah,
partly it's talent, time, and work, like the time of practice that they put into it. But it could also be the specs that they use, what kind of equipment that they use. because they want to be able to give themselves the highest advantage as they can in game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just part of the process. That's not the reason why they're good, but it's just part of it.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. What else? Sorry, I went off a tangent. What was
Keep
the
going.
question again?
Well, that's never one of the podcast, right? Like I ask the kind of question to make sure she goes down that rabbit hole.
Mm.
Okay. Well, so if someone's trying to get into this whole thing, right? And they want to build their own setup. How do you start? Like, do you die just the tower first, and build in, like outside in, or like how do you have to know what kind of game you want it for? Like, how does someone actually get started in that?
How you get started in it is you have to ask yourself why you want to get started and the reason why you want to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is under like you make a plan for yourself, like a goal, right? Okay, so if you're doing this to stream,
Mm-hmm.
what's your reasoning for streaming? Is it to connect with people? Is it to record yourself so that way you can watch your gameplays and get better at the game? Are you doing this because you're hoping to make a career out of it? Or are you doing it because you want to connect with other people? So like you want to connect with your friends because all your friends play games, and this is one reason why you should get into gaming. It's like, you can connect with them on a different level. Or
Mm-hmm.
because it's COVID times and you want to build something.
Yeah.
Um, so those are all good reasons. I think it's understanding why you want to get into it and having a clear, not even a clear, just a general idea. Be mindful of your budget too. So what your capacity is for what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like if you want to get into streaming, you don't have to have all everything in order to get started. You can just have a regular PC or a laptop and start learning the process of it. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
um, how do you work with audio? So how do you get your audio from your headset to a streaming platform? The other thing
Okay.
is, what platform do you use to stream it on? Like there's a couple of different ones. There's YouTube, Facebook, Mixer. There's a new one coming out, and then of course there's Twitch. So what platform do you want to use? How learning that platform and that OS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you make an overlay? Things like that. Or you can even, and the best way to learn is YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of YouTube videos where you can get really deep into the nitty gritty of it. So I think if you want to get into it, you just got to do research.
Oh,
You just got to be a really good researcher. And then that's what I mean by saying, like, if you don't have that motivation already, if you don't have that want or that need or that vision
mm-hmm.
um, in your head, then, it's going to be hard for you. You're going to be like, it's not as easy as you thought.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that would be my main suggestion to people that want to get started is know why you want to do it and do your research and homework on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cool. So we just talked a lot about streaming. You built a streaming computer. You gave this whole thing about considered platforms, but you still don't consider yourself a streamer. So what is missing from you until you're officially a streamer in your eyes?
Um, hmm. I am missing a that it's not my main source of income. I feel like I would be doing streamers the disservice if I called myself a streamer because of the hard work and energy that they put into it,
Mm-hmm.
um, to build their own community of I'm really grateful that I have a lot of friends that are supportive of me streaming,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not always consistent. So I think that being able to call yourself a streamer, you have to be responsible for that title.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that you should take it upon yourself, but you should because people are subscribing to you. They are using their funds that they work so hard to get to support you, and you kind of have this sense of, to me, you have a sense of responsibility to show that, okay, thank you for supporting me, and you're supporting me so I could do my processes on stream, whether that be just chat or it could be like playing a new game or playing with viewers, things like that. Like you have not an obligation, but it's more of a sense of duty to whoever chooses to support you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I don't call myself a streamer because I don't think I can dedicate um, on a consistent basis
Okay.
um, to it. So that's why I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Is that your goal though? Like, are you trying to get to that point, or is this more just like, just something I do for fun, just kind of you don't do it a lot to the point where that, but that's an assumption. So,
That would be really cool. I think streaming has its potentials. I mean, look at it from a pandemic point of view, right? Twitch has blown up so far as like being an essential part of life right now for
mhm.
people. Um, it's People are doing news on here. People are doing esports. People are doing just everything you could do on here. With instead of regular television, you could do it on a virtual platform.
Mhm.
Um, I think it would be cool as a way to make income, but I don't think it's sustainable for myself.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of things that I want to do, and it requires being out there, like on other mm, s- other platforms.
Okay.
Yeah, so um, I think it's really cool that people do make a living off of this.
Mhm.
I don't see it as a way for me to sustain myself, so I don't put in the time and energy into it. Maybe if I did, it could make something out of it, but I'm at this point, I'm not really. The goal for me streaming most of the time is to raise awareness for certain causes I've been doing,
Mhm.
or like a certain game that I want to play, or like a way to connect with people. I really like that. It's
Mhm.
Even though it's just me talking to myself, I'm talking to a chat that
Yeah.
has invested their time. Out of all the millions of people that they can be watching, they're choosing to spend time with me.
Mhm.
So I like that interaction. Um, People get to see what you're doing, um, and they're just genuinely curious. So I like that want to get to know someone better.
Mhm.
And I should do the same thing because I'm just a normal person too.
Yeah.
Um, so I appreciate that people want to get to know me, and vice versa.
Mhm.
Um, but I would use the streaming platform as a way to bring awareness into the community about certain things that I care about that I feel like it isn't brought up in the Twitch or gaming world. Things like mental health
Mhm.
or raising awareness for Black Lives Matter, running a charity for COVID relief funds.
Yeah.
Um, that is why I use the streaming platform, or most recently.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do you feel like because so you work in public policy, right? That's something we talked about before. Um, but I feel like you've been doing that way before COVID happened, and now that COVID's happening, I feel like your content is way more relevant now than ever. Did you at some point see this like, oh, cool, this is finally a time to like get my message out there on a bigger scale, or is it more just like another day for you? Like, okay, cool, just I'm gonna keep going out there, doing what I'm doing.
Both. Um, it's really cool. I've been very fortunate and very privileged that I was a part of this community and doing what I do as far as public health, and everything that is going on right now is super relevant to what I do with work, and it doesn't feel like for me it was a privilege for me to not to make an easy transition into working from home and streaming and basically doing whatever I do normally post pre-pandemic on a
Yeah.
virtual space, right? So that
Mhm.
transition and that adaptation was really easy for me too because I already had everything set up. But I realized that not everyone has this. Not everyone has access to good internet. Not everyone has a computer. Not everyone has a device, the infrastructure to support it. Even having your own space and room is a privilege,
Yeah.
right? Um, so I webcams, things like that. So acquiring all these items, I really feel for people, and that does give me a sense of duty when it comes to like inequities within society. So I think that it's as a communications major, it's really interesting to see how people adapt to virtual spaces because we are social creatures.
Yeah.
Um, into not having any kind of human interaction like in person.
Mhm.
So I think it's a good because we're all on here on this space, it was a good. I don't know. The pandemic was, if there was a good thing about it, this would be the good thing about it, is that
Okay.
people start to realize and see and the different social, racial inequities, and that includes in this space too. So being here and being so well acclimated to it, and hoping to bring that same level of comfort to other people is mm, something that I really care about. So, and it
Yeah.
has the potential to get bigger.
Mhm. And would you say like that's like the main? Was that how you? Why you got into streaming? Like, you know, you're not streaming. Like, is that like, I want to put myself out there to talk about these kind of things? Or did you do it just like, oh, I'm playing games with my buddies, and you're like, oh man, light bulb, this might connect to? Like,
Mm.
how did you get started in the first place?
I liked that was really cool. That's a good question. I started streaming because I wanted to connect with my friends, but I also wanted to show that I am good at Call of Duty. um, in the space of Call of Duty and coming from console gamings, it could be very toxic for
Yeah.
female gamers. I wanted to originally start streaming just my gameplay, but I realized that it doesn't have a face to it. You can just be anyone behind the microphone or behind the computer screen. So
Okay.
I wanted to just stream without even using my face, but really just having a person there in the corner, the left hand corner or right hand corner, wherever it is.
Yeah.
Um, and just covering my face. I was gonna cosplay, I was gonna like use a face mask to like hide my identity, but really just show that, okay, look, a girl can be in this space too and can do well.
Mhm.
Um, and I am, if I'm super cocky about a game, if I can be really good at any one particular thing, it would be Call of Duty.
Okay.
um, so, like it was hard for me to like at the very beginning when I played it on like Xbox 360 in the community, as soon as you turn on the headset, because there wasn't like Discord or a private channel on a console. So
Yeah.
all of it is in game. So whenever you chat with friends, it's other people can hear you unless you're in like in a private room with all your friends like through the Xbox console platform.
Yeah.
Um, but that wasn't fun because then you could only chat with each other, but you want to hear the interactions with other people in game too.
Yeah.
So all my guy friends would be in there and they would chat, and as soon as I get into the game, I'll be like, "Hey guys, everyone!" One either would just be like, "Oh my God, there's a girl here," or they'll be like, "Shut up, bitch!" Like, um,
Oh my
it
god.
was it was horrible. It was
Yeah.
really it was like, "Go make me a sandwich." It's like a very subservient kind of like get into your this is not your get into your gender role, like go get into the kitchen where you belong kind of deal. And that
Yeah.
was the attitude that I got from the gaming community. Just and all I said was, hey guys, like that was it. And
Yeah.
so that's why I wanted to stream, because I was just like, okay, I'm tired of this. And it sucked because I had to mute myself. I was afraid to talk. um
Oh, because of once you say hey guys and everything goes off, it
yeah.
doesn't matter how good you do. You get like
Yeah.
4 new, it doesn't matter. It's like you're a girl.
It doesn't. So
Okay.
that's why I started streaming. I also thought it would be a fun way to get some extra income,
Mhm.
if it took off. But I came in with this assumption that, okay, I have a little bit of a following online on Instagram. If I transition over to the Twitch community, maybe that following would come and become sustainable there, or like maybe I would have that kind of support here too. Totally was not the case. So that was my own fault, like my own assumptions. The Twitch community is very sacred to me, and it was uh its own its own culture, and that
Yeah.
was my short-sightedness that like is why people didn't support me, because of that. Like, you can't just be a pretty face on stream and expect that people are going to follow you and support you and pay you thousands of dollars to play games. Like,
Mhm.
no, that's not. You
Yeah.
shouldn't come into streaming with that kind of mindset.
Mhm. So all that said, which very I appreciate by the way, very admirable. Are you actually good at Call of Duty?
Fuck yeah, I'm good at Call of Duty. I'm good at multiplayer. I'm not that good at Warzone yet. Warzone is the new battle royale game.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
Mhm.
Mm. So I'm
Yeah.
working on that, but I
Yeah.
am really good at multiplayer. So I only say that because I've had so many years of experience with Call of Duty, starting with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm really good at the like controller. Like,
Okay.
it's just muscle memory. that Call of Duty gets a lot of shit because it's the same game and they're just copying, pasting it, and renaming it something else, adding a couple different features and charging you $60 for the same game. They try to make it different, but it's fun and entertaining to me. That competitiveness there, you kind of have to have a little bit of that. It makes it makes gaming fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so isn't like, but so wouldn't Call of Duty just be like another like version of iPhone? Like they're just gonna keep it going until Call of Duty's never gonna die. It's another part of our culture in some way. So of course they're gonna keep releasing, just adding on little extras. Or do you disagree? I'm guessing you disagree.
Um, I never saw it that way. I
Mhm.
feel like if anything, Call of Duty would be like an app, um, versus the console. I
Okay.
think if you're talking about console and like being like an iPhone, it would be an Xbox because when you have to get like Xbox and Macs are very closely related to well, I mean it's an iPhone, right? An iProduct. You have to
Yeah.
use their own
Eco-
uh yeah, like you have to use their own products. You can't like let's say if you wanted an Xbox controller, a wireless one, you can't get it off market. You can't get a third party because they have certain like the signal that is read within the Xbox, you have to use their products in order
yeah.
to for it to be readable. And that's the nice part of being a PC gamer because all the games work on the PC and it's very user friendly.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive. Like it doesn't have this like air of arrogance where well kind of unless you call yourself the PC master race. But it's not like a social like some for some people it can be a social status kind of thing like ooh what kind of gamer are you? I'm a
Yeah.
PC gamer. The same thing with people who carry devices, right? Mobile devices. Do you have
Yeah.
the latest iPhone? If you do, you put it on the table at a meeting. Ooh, impressive! You got the latest gadget. Oh, but
Oh,
vice versa. Yeah,
yeah.
it has that kind of culture to it, and other people can look at it and be like, "Oh, you're an iPhone user. You're sheep. You're getting told what to buy because it's easy." And other
I,
people like it because it's compatible with all the other iDevices that they have. So,
yeah.
mhm.
So when I had the X for 11 when it came out, I didn't realize that. Like I just got a new phone. 'Cause the last one I had is like literally like gonna die any second now. I'm just it's like a big hole in your t-shirt. It's like well, the shirt still works. It's like throw the phone away. Like literally it could be at 80% to die. So I finally got a new phone. I took it to work. I pulled it out just to like talk to someone. And my coworker's like, "Oh, look who got the new phone." I'm like, I'm not an asshole. I just got a new phone. Like like don't look at me like that. So I get
Yeah, yeah.
it.
So it depends on people and how they see or perceive it, right? So you never know why they get it. Like for you, it could be a reason. Like you needed an upgrade for a phone because your phone didn't work, but people are gonna assume because you got it when the
Doesn't
release
matter.
came out that you're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get the latest thing."
Yeah,
It's like you did it out of necessity. Same thing with a car. You just need a car that takes you point A to point B.
yeah,
But then for other people, it could be like a way to show
yeah.
off, like curbside appeal. Look at me. I have a Prius versus a Tesla. I don't know. Like people do that, and it's not up to me to judge why people do things. So um, yeah, whatever.
Like obviously you're really into your PC, right? And building this out. What are your thoughts on like dudes that have like the really souped up Hondas and Acuras and like they get boba all the time? Like that kind of like do you consider that like a whole different vibe or do you say, oh I appreciate that because just like the PC stuff?
Oh, it's cool. I mean, people could do whatever they want. Whatever. I am all for people being happy. And if
Okay.
suiting up their car gives them like some sort of like a sense of community, because the racing car world and the car scene itself
Yeah.
is its own community, right? People like the reason why people get Hondas is one, because it's affordable. Two, they can build up from it. Like you don't need to have some fancy like BMW or whatever it is in order to make it fast, right? Someone said fast, somewhat furious. um, it's cool. Its own like it parallels with building your own PC. It's like knowing what makes your car work, how to upgrade it, make it run more efficiently, to what you want to get it to. Because some people like maybe they don't care about the speed; they care about how it looks, or maybe people don't care how it looks and would sacrifice the looks for how fast it runs, how light your car is.
Yeah.
Um, and
Mhm.
then like how, having the whole boba scene and stuff like that. That's just a that 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 boba spot, because it's free, it's accessible to people. You can
Mhm.
get drinks. It's a good way to meet other people and network. Like I see nothing wrong with that. Like that is so cool that people have that space to get together and gather,
Yeah.
and they can talk about cars. It's like any other fandom. Like
Mhm.
you can obsess over it and meet other people that are just as enthused as you are,
Okay.
and you could connect like that. So total parallels with the gaming world. So
Very cool. I never thought of it that way. Like I always saw, like I knew it was a community, but I was like, ah, just like that's the crowd, right? I don't know much about them, but
that's the crowd. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
with every community, you have the goods and then the bad sides of it. Um, and I think it's just about keeping an open mind. I only know about the car scene because I grew up in the 90s, early 2000s, where that was a huge thing. I grew up in San Jose, where a lot of like quote unquote rice rockets were. So we were like we were just kids looking for fun.
Yeah.
Um, and that was the thing. That's how people. That's that was their social media platform, was to
Hmm.
meet people at boba shops. So and the whole like, come on, we're talking about Hollywood, right? So you're talking about the Fast and the Furious came out then, and all these other I don't know because I don't watch car action movies, but um, that was a huge part of contributing factors to that. And
Hmm.
so yeah, each to each its own.
Very cool. Well, hey, I'm gonna totally like can I hard left on some questions?
Sure.
Like ask. Okay. So tying it back, we're going. So I read the article you shared on Instagram, the Atlantic article
Yes.
on like we're not being prepared for COVID.
Hmm.
I thought that was cool. I never thought of it that way because like the other day, the dude in at the Florida Costco was like, "I feel threatened, like back up." Like I don't know if you saw that one. But I was
Mm.
like, "Just wear a mask. It's not hard." Like it, right? But in the article, it talks about like you can't really blame people if it's the store's fault for being open in the first place, where the government's doing this. I don't know. I wanted your thoughts on that, but I also want to say, hey, that was a good article. I appreciate you sharing that. Like that made sense.
Thanks. Yeah, my buddy of mine, I got to give credit to my friend Dan Diggity, who shared that, and he's a local San Jose. If you he calls himself the Vietnamese astronaut. I don't want to like misidentify him. I'm just gonna use his own descriptions for himself. He is, to me, he's like a modern philosopher. So
Okay.
he's epic in that way. He shared the article, and for everyone that's joining in or whoever's going to be watching the podcast, the article is about how uh, that humans were not made for this kind of reopening, psychologically. And they're giving a little bit of a preface to why people act the way that they do, and to have some sort of the overall consensus of the article was that there was a real lack of empathy during COVID times, and that goes for everyone. Not It goes for people that don't feel like they need to wear a mask, and it speaks on why people shame other people for not wearing a mask,
Mhm.
um, and why it doesn't help the overall picture of what we're trying to achieve. It could help explain why people have certain views that they do, and it's not because of their ignorance or their it's not because of their access to information, but it's just more so how they came to understanding of certain things. And that where we as humans are forgetting that empathetic part, that not everyone grew up the same way you did and had the same experiences and opportunities as you did to understand what you know. So sorry, that was the whole like premise of the as what I got from the article.
Mhm.
Um, sorry, what was it, Chris? I'm like, what?
What were your thoughts on the article in the first place?
Thoughts on the article is it hit me in that way because um being in prevention work, like I really do try to like harm reduce, right? I don't I try not to judge people, um and try to keep an open mind, because in order to be understood, you have to first seek to understand why people
Mhm.
feel that way, and why they don't want to put on a mask or why they do want to put on a mask.
Mhm.
Um, it hit me because I want to be more empathetic and understanding why people feel that way. And it could
Mhm.
be a couple of things just because so we don't have a an universal message on COVID, right? How to proceed with the pandemic.
Yeah.
It varies depending on what city you're in, what county you're in, what state, and what country even. There's a lack of leadership in that aspect. I feel like that has the power to have some kind of influence on the way that people think, at least for the majority.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that people are lost in the different ways of like handling it because you don't really know how to do it. Some people wear masks, like let's say you're outside and
Okay.
you don't always have to wear a mask outside. That unless there's other people that are close to you and you can't avoid the whole physical distancing aspect, right?
Yeah.
But it's just different ways of harm reduction. There's no safe way to do it. There's just safer ways to do it. So wearing a mask is one, spacing yourself apart from others is another one. Being outside versus indoors is another precaution. But
Yeah.
people are left with limited options on how to approach this. So like you said, Chris, earlier, how people don't make bad choices. They were just given bad options.
Mhm.
So having empathy and walking around with kindness has always been my own way of approaching life, and it
Mhm.
shouldn't. And it made me realize that I should approach this with the same type of attitude.
Okay.
That mhm. So that's how I reflected on that.
Yeah. So what is like a what does work like for you? Like what? Because this sounds like really admirable, right? But like, what are you doing at work each day? Like, cause to like, I would say not battle code, but like, how do you help the community in that regard? I know it's public policy, but like, what exactly are you doing?
Okay. My job, if I had the title for it, is the Prevention Project Assistant. I
Okay.
work with the Asian American community in the Bay Area, mostly with folks that are 18 to 24 years old, and I try to do harm reduction when it comes to high risk activity that can lead to HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, and substance misuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the model of the facilitation work that I do, it isn't a teaching method. It's more so try to reduce harm and make people aware that this is going to happen. It's a very holistic approach. So
Mm-hmm.
we talk about, I can't just expect people to like, hey, drugs are bad, don't do it. And they're not going to do it. Or if we're talking about sex and HIV and STIs, I can't just give them a condom and be like, here you go, good luck, get tested once.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reason why it's emphasized on the Asian American Pacific Islander community is because, well, we don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different ways to look at it. There's no one reason why we are so susceptible to it. And a lot of people ask me, well, is HIV still relevant? Like, of course it is.
Yeah.
The strange parallel to that is that COVID, right?
Okay.
People don't talk, people talk about it. They have different ways of viewing it, but it affects everyone. It doesn't know. It racism. I mean, STIs, COVID, hepatitis, and AIDS and HIV don't know color. They don't know what a spring break is. It affects everyone. Um, so there's a misconception with just HIV on its own
Mm-hmm.
that it disproportionately affects the MSM or men who have sex with other men or LGBTQIA plus community. Um, but that includes us too. Us meaning the Asian American Pacific Islander and Native Hawaiian community. Because if we don't talk about it, it doesn't get spoken on.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't say what they need, because there's a lot of shame and stigma attached to it, it would never be addressed.
Yeah.
So my job is to get people to raise awareness on risk. So if you're gonna be doing something like if you're gonna have sex without a condom, you put yourself at this risk.
Mm-hmm.
If you have sex without a condom and you use lube, you decrease the risk and things like that. So, what else is there? Substance use, right? If you're gonna roll at an EDM event, you're at risk for what? Um, I don't know,
Dehydration.
dying, dehydration. It de- it all depends though, right? Like how
Yeah.
when did you take it? Who you're taking it with? What kind of pill is it? Did you check? Did you do your due diligence and check where the pill, like if it has bad reviews or not? Did you test it for fentanyl? Or like, are you using it with alcohol? All those things need to be taken into account, and that's the whole point is to reduce harm. So we know that people are going to do it, but there's safer ways of using that doesn't put you at risk for
Yeah.
substance misuse or abuse. So
So like when you hear, I don't know if you have, but like you have buddies that like do roll and all that stuff, and like, are you like super like strict about it? Where you're like, hey guys, I know you're gonna do it, but like, here's the best ways to approach this, right? Like, how are you?
I approach it the same way I do as work. People can take the information. It's not up to me what they take away. I can give it out and I can put it out there.
Okay.
And they choose if they choose to listen, that's on them. If they don't, then that's fine too. It's not my job to keep people safe. I want people to feel empowered and I want
Mhm.
people to know the information. It's up to them what they choose to do with that. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell them how to live their life. I'm not here to judge them. The same way with me. I'm just because I preach it,
Okay.
I will follow my own things, but like I still party, I still like to drink, I still like to smoke occasionally, like and it's my job isn't to stop people from doing what they do. My job is just to get people to be aware and feel empowered to make the best choices for themselves. Because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna always be there to hold their hand. I'm not gonna always be there to remind them, be that moral thing on the side, be like, don't do it, because Beemy said not to. It should be your own efficacy in order
Yeah.
to tell you that. So
Mhm.
it should be on you to be responsible and self advocate, whatever is best for you in that moment. So
Yeah.
mhm. I hope that
So
answers it.
yeah, I feel like that was a good answer. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. So is doing what you're doing now, is that you said you studied communication studies, right?
hmm
Was that the purpose of that? Like, okay, I wanted to go to school for this, so I could go book policy to do this, or is it more were you kind of building tracks as you kind of went?
I kind of built the tracks as I went. I
Okay.
got into communication studies just by pure chance. I really wanted to just get college over and done with because I already switched three different majors before that.
Oh,
Um,
damn.
yeah.
Okay.
So in high school, well, middle school, high school, I studied really hard to get into a school that I wanted. Right, that was expected of me, being a firstborn Asian, like having parents that are kind of like there's a certain expectation to you, and
Okay.
I was quote unquote the oldest out of the American-born kids in my family. So I think it was supposed to be go to school, get into a 4-year college, become a doctor or engineer or lawyer or whatever it is, something of traditional practicality.
Yeah.
Uh, and I felt pressured into that, and that wasn't me thinking for myself. It was just doing it to appease others, which are others being my parents and whatever society thinks or places on me.
Mhm.
Um, when I got into the school of my choice, I couldn't go because of situations at home.
Okay.
So I stayed back and I did community college. It was probably the best thing that I could have done for myself because I was so lost. I took a bunch of classes
Yeah.
that I didn't know like was necessary, like that wasn't like even a prereq to what I wanted to do. So I was like, okay, a lot of my friends are doing nursing. Seems like a stable career. There's always going to be a need for nurses. I did that a couple of times. I did like, all the little prereqs for it in community college. I I volunteered at a senior home for one summer and I was like, nope, I can't do this. It's such an emotional drain. Like I can't do it. I don't have the capacity for that.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? What else can I do? And I'm like, okay, how about interior designing? I like playing The Sims a lot. I like to decorate my own shit. Like, let's do that. Went to a school that was predominantly like very white. I didn't feel like I felt very outcasted. Made me really uncomfortable, and I was like, why? It's just people from a different color, but it's just how they saw me. Um, and that it really affected me in a way. Like I didn't realize that it did so much. It really like turned me off to the entire process of the school, and I didn't want to be there.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. And then I took communications because all my classes that I took as a prereq in nursing and interior designing, that was in communication studies. That it was the one subject that a lot of them accounted for, dual accounted for. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, cool. If I want to graduate, communications would be like the would save me a lot of time because I already took some of the prereqs.
Mhm.
So I took communication studies, and I did that for 2 years at a community college. And when I applied for school, like San Jose State, I didn't get it, which was weird because when I applied for a 4 year college, like 6 years earlier, I got into like UC, like universities, like Universities of California, Berkeley, or Irvine.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, what? Why? Why can't I get into my own local university?
Okay.
And I mean, one is ultra competitive. Two, they were limiting the amount of local students to get in that semester, and it was impacted. So I got offered to go to CSU Monterey Bay,
Mhm.
which has one of the best communication schools there ever.
Mhm.
Um, best professors. They had this whole entire department of communications where you can study 23 different concentrations of communications.
Damn.
Yeah, it was epic. So I was like, what is this? So at that time I didn't even get into public health. It was more of like, okay, what do I want to do? What am I good at? I'm not really good at one particular thing. And communications is so broad. So I'm like, okay, proof. It's so broad I could do whatever I want with it.
Okay.
All I knew was that I because I grew up with immigrant parents, I wanted to give back to them. I wanted to, I was always their translator or their that person that they go to if they need to, you know, if English was a problem or a language barrier. Um, so I felt like there was a need for that in our community, even though we've been here for plus 30 years. There's still a need for me to like be that that person for them. And
Mhm.
it came to a point where their friends were using me to sign them up for things, take them to the doctors, things like that. Um, and so that I knew that I felt some sort of obligation to give back to my community in that way.
Mhm.
So if communication studies can help me get there, uh, that's why I joined it. And I emphasized my my concentration to be oral history, history, and new media studies when
Yeah.
it came to communications because I think history is such an important aspect to know where you come from. Uh, to know where you come from is to know who you are. So
Mhm.
yeah, does that answer your question? I don't know. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't mean to go on these
Oh
random
no.
tangents.
No worries. No worries. Take a breather. And that was a long one.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Talking about myself sucks. I hate talking about myself. So, I was really hesitant to join an interview that has to talk about me.
Yeah.
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 So, thanks for
Like
being patient.
yeah, of course. I appreciate it nonetheless, right? I mean, same like I do photography and like I've learned like whenever anyone's in front of a camera, it's like whoa, like you're very vulnerable right now. Okay, like no matter what you do, you're gonna be vulnerable. Like even just like a quick like selfie with like your friends, like okay, you just gotta smile, right? And then
Yeah.
like sometimes that's a whole like experience in itself. But I digress. But
No, that's okay. I'm really nervous, but if it wasn't in my own space, I wouldn't be as comfortable. But because I do this all the time,
if
I'm
you're
very, yeah, like I'm very comfortable with it. The uncomfortable part is having to talk about myself.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
sometimes like, you like release one thing, you're like, well, I already started it. And just keep going. So one reason why I wanted to reach out to you, right? When I actually came across your originally Instagram, and I found your TikTok. You have a lot of funny like videos. Like as I said, the fourth one is like I think the funniest. Cause it's just like if you see someone going out during COVID, call them out. If you need to go more than 4 miles, go the fuck home. It's like, damn, like so like, get to the point. But in that, so like, how do you come up with your content? Like, is it more like you're at work and you guys are having a meeting about like a certain thing going on in the world? Like, cool, I'm gonna talk about that. Or is it more like I'm gonna just improvise? Like, how do you come up with your little skits?
Oh, I just improvise. And it's cool, Chris, that you found me on. Wait, you found me on TikTok, or did you?
Instagram originally, and I went through
Mhm.
your link tree and just like, okay, I'm just gonna one by one knock all these out.
Okay. Thank you for doing your homework
Of course.
or your research. I like that when people do that. So, let's see. Yeah, no, I just wing it, just say it. It's it's easier for me to speak from my heart than it is to read off a script. Even though if I prepare for it, I'm not
Mhm,
gonna. I can have little talking points for myself, but it's easier for me to just speak freely and passionately about what I care about.
mhm.
Um, because I don't need a script for that.
Yeah, that's cool. Very organic, very natural in that regard. So then, well, I know we're definitely over time. So I appreciate you sticking around. Um,
Sorry.
one last question I had for you is for because you've been doing this for such a long time and you have everyone follow me on Twitch, Instagram, all that. What are some tips you could give to people to be better streamers or taking it back, like how to be better content creators as a whole?
I'm okay. Speaking from my own observations and where I'm from, where I'm at, I think it's really just to be yourself. Create a space where you should be comfortable in your own space.
Mhm,
So what you expect out of your community and the kind of support that you want, you have to be the first that person to create that first.
mhm,
So do what makes you happy, what you're comfortable with. Um, if that means showing your face on camera or not showing your face on camera first. Um, it's like I say it because I'm very comfortable in the space that I created for myself wherever I go, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media platform I'm on, even on TikTok,
mhm.
because all I can be is myself. If you're trying to be someone else, that's going to be really hard. You can
Yeah.
have unless you're like, if you could act a role, cool, whatever, right? But
Mhm,
if you can just be yourself, I mean, if you're trying to be a streamer, it's a dime a dozen. But if you're yourself, then there's only you. There's only one you, and people will really resonate with that. Um, and to be transparent with people, and if you're not comfortable with certain things, then let people know that. It's good to have healthy boundaries for yourself and having those boundaries for your understand for that community. Maybe people aren't comfortable with the streaming platform. Yeah, you're not getting that support that you need, but you need to allow space for that to happen, for people to grow and change or to adapt. You
mhm,
have to have patience, um, and really just be comfortable enough to put yourself out there. Because if you're okay with being vulnerable, other people will feel that from you, and they will feel vulnerable too, or feel like it's a safe space to do that.
mhm,
Um, and that will create, you know, rapport with folks, and then that will grow genuinely. Like I
mhm,
think uh, that would be my tip, I guess. That's
mhm,
it. To be vulnerable, have some humility, be transparent, um, and just be you. That's
mhm.
funny because my name is Beemy. Don't be me, be
Oh,
you.
yeah, very cool. Hey, Beam, I appreciate that, man. This is a very inspirational kind of interview. I appreciate that.
Stop. Nah, 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 nah. Thank you, Chris, for these questions were really great. I'm really glad that you put in the time and energy to like look this up or look,
Mhm.
what I'm about. I was hoping to get to know you a little bit more. Maybe we could do that off camera sometime. You
Yeah,
seem like a really cool dude. And by the way, everyone, if you are unfamiliar with Chris, please follow him at K_digital on Instagram. Do you have any other handles that you want to pop up in there?
uh, just KDigitals.
K Digitals.
Right? Yeah, it's I'm on YouTube, right? KDigitals. Click it up. You could Instagram, right? But there's also on Spotify. That one I'm still building
You're
out because
on Spotify?
Spotify. But it's been kind of a back burner project. So there's some interviews up there right now, but the majority of interviews are all gonna be on YouTube, right? But I'm building out different legs to the stool. Just gotta give it some time.
Really cool. And for anyone that's listening, if you don't have Spotify, I still have room on an account for one more. I know that Spotify is expensive, so we're not getting sponsored by it, by the way. So not everyone's on Spotify. So if you need an account or if you want to do a trial, just let me know. I can help you out with that. There's only like 5 people on the stream, but I just want to put it out there that you can do that.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have access to Chris's channel, like if you're not on Instagram or on YouTube, you could always go to my channel on twitch.tv/Beemyupscotty to watch this interview again. I'll save it on there, um, so you can see it in the foreseeable future. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's all about access, right?
Yeah. Very cool. Well, hey, we'll almost start recording after
Okay.
going, but I appreciate it. So what now? Are you just gonna be on here for the next like hour and a half, just playing Call of Duty and go doing that?
Um, no, I put up on my story. Thanks for reposting it, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Um, let's see. I'm gonna answer this. I found Beamy through a friend's Instagram. Hey, shout out to my friend dear Marriott. You also need to be willing to take out everyone more popular than you and climb that ladder. I don't want to step on other people in order to get to that. I don't want that. If people notice me, they notice me. If they don't, I don't care. But I'm not gonna be putting down other people to get in a higher place. Um, Someone's down. Okay, Mars for shorts. Hit me up. Private message me on IG. I'm worth like 20 people though. Yes, you are. You're not worthless. Sorry, you're priceless. But yeah, to answer your question, Chris, I put up an Instagram story
Oh, you
and
did?
I asked people to the one that you reposted, and
Mm.
in that same
Repost?
story, I put like a question and ask me anything on there, so I can go through that. If you want, you can partake, but if you have to get
Yeah.
going, you're like, by all means, you can go. I know life happens.
I actually want to hear one of the questions real quick, but then I'll jump off after that. I'm not recording, so now I'm just a fan on the side too.
Oh my God, ew, don't even call yourself that. Everyone here is friends that I haven't met yet. Just
Mhm.
so I have there's only really three questions. Um, so one is, hi Beemy Scotty, feel free to check and follow my page. I
Gotcha.
will check in to see. I mean, I'm curious when people put that. It's probably a bot anyways, but sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
Um, how does one cope with depression stemming from a broken heart? Ah, do you want to help me answer this, Chris? It'll be good perspective because,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was different. Let's do it.
Okay, you can go first. Or like, who do you want to go first, or should I?
So the question was, how do you cope from depression when you have a broken heart?
Yeah, the question is, how does one cope with depression stemming from a broken heart?
Oh, damn. I mean, that's a heavy question. I mean, so if someone was at, like, I remember my roommates asked for that. I don't know. Like, it's as weird as it sounds. I say just keep yourself busy. Like it's more in a way of like, because when you have a broken heart, the way I look at it is like you have someone that you're really like connected with emotionally, and like your life is just your habits, and your habits are being with that person all the time,
Mhm.
right? And once that person's gone, you don't have that habit. And for a lot of people, it's weird when that just disappears. You're like, well, what do I do now? Like I never. It's been such a long time in a position. I'm so out of date that they don't do is they start stressing out. But my thing is, okay, well, if you fix that habit with something else and like something positive, so like, I don't get a second job or hang out with someone more or try to get a hobby. And I'm sure people hate hearing that too, right? That's just part of it. But once you keep yourself busy, then that's why you're able to move on because your mind is kind of taking a step away from it. Um, that's how I look at it. At the end of the day, like, don't be hard on yourself. Like, if you want to feel and cry. Like, that's totally acceptable, right? It's just there's a part of you that needs you to let yourself be you, but also a part of you that needs to be a little bit more proactive in helping that go away. But everyone has their time frames, you know.
Mhm. No, I like what you said about that. I think snaps to that.
Yeah.
Um, the way I would answer it would be, let's see, I think focusing on yourself. So sometimes people, like in a relationship, some people can be codependent on their partners and expect them to be the source of their happiness. You should always put yourself first. Like, it doesn't mean that you don't care about the other person and like you value your life more, but you should be the main character in your own story, right? So don't be codependent on people, period. Relationship wise, any relationship, you should take care of yourself and your needs. Um, There's no compromising. That's where people get in trouble with. Like they forget about themselves. They should be valued. You should value yourself. So whatever that means, like health wise, mentally, physically.
Mhm.
So working on getting to know yourself again. Um, like you said, like those habits can be, like you lose that part of you. That person was a part of your life for a long time. Um, and just giving yourself that space to adjust, realize that it's going to take time. It doesn't go away instantaneously. Um, I think putting you do have to be brave and put yourself back out there. Not dating wise, but I mean putting yourself out there to be vulnerable with people, reconnect with those friends that you might not have like got, you might have ignored for a while because you're in a relationship and you don't do things with them as often anymore.
Yeah.
Really get into your hobby or find a new hobby to get into. Um, but it's doing it for yourself, I think is it's healthy. I like that you talked about letting yourself feel. Um, it can be really uncomfortable after a breakup. I went through a breakup at the beginning of at the end of last year
Oh, shit.
from an 8-year relationship with
Yeah.
a dude. So I understand that feeling of like heartbreak and having to find yourself again and making yourself happy, not depending on others. That was a journey, and I wouldn't be so, I guess, okay with myself if it wasn't for that. So, um, you know, uh, appreciate why they were in your life is another thing too. It's like it could be sometimes like, oh, that person did this, they made me so sad. But I mean, understand that they're going through something too. They're going through an adjustment period, and
Mhm.
because of them, that's where you are now. So, be really grateful for everything, even if it's bad. Learn from them. Let yourself feel and be in the moment. Um, and that's it. hmm don't do that whole the best way to get over someone is under someone. I mean, what? Wait, actually, whatever works for you, but that's only temporary. I would I would say invest in yourself instead of investing in other ways of coping. Um, I think while it's fun to party, to drink, to smoke, to let loose, go on Tinder dates, and have a whole bunch of sex and shit like that. All that stuff is materialistic. You can't have all those things all the time. And the only thing that you can count on and be reliable, like count on to be there for you is you. So invest in yourself because you're gonna be there for yourself. So you don't need anything else. That's
Mhm.
my tip. Pro tip. Okay. But yeah, Chris, someone says hi.
Oh, hey,
Um,
how's it going, man? Or
um, and someone said, "Oh my God, Beemy is reading off my response." I was not reading off your response. Like, not. This is from lived experiences, and someone said feels. So, anyways, Chris, how was that for you?
I mean, that was
Interesting.
cool. I remember saying on something like we do this right. It's like I get on these and like I have to be aware. I like talking, but I'm doing an
hmm
interview, and so when I start talking, it's like I want to say my part. But I'm like I gotta shut up already. Like this is my platform right now. You know,
So,
it's cool. It's fun. I definitely didn't see that coming.
oh yeah, I mean, it's fun to be uncomfortable because you get to learn a little bit or get something from it. So I hope that you got as much as I got from this interview. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, that's a point. Like, in some way, it's like a shameless. Like, I get to talk to people that I want to learn from, and so it's some way where I could do that, but I get to record that as content because I've learned like I do appreciate my conversation. Like, oh, other people might appreciate this too, right? Like, there's a guy I'm shooting with next. What's today?
Today's the
Matthew.
11th.
Next Saturday, a photographer who's really big. Like my like Instagram was like first starting,
Mm,
and I interview him. And it's like, oh shit, like low key, this guy is kind of like
your
the celebrity.
hero.
Also, like just a regular dude.
Oh
And it's just
yeah.
like now I'm talking the person that's like on their side of the screen. I feel like that's always different, right? Like I've interviewed or met people that like were like celebrities to me, and you meet them and like, wow, this is a very vivid experience. And then it's like, oh, we're just a regular person now. Okay, well, all the magic's gone. But it's not bad. It's a different way of looking at life, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's true. Don't I hope you don't see me that way because I'm totally not. Let's see. Oh, someone said, by the way, oh, thanks so much for telling us that too, Chris. Like, I appreciate you feeling so comfortable in this space. I know it's like new for you. It's
Yeah,
my turn to be the interviewer. Just
of
kidding.
course. Totally.
Someone says, ask him if I can crash on his couch. It looks very comfortable.
Dude, it's not comfortable. It's from Target. You go literally, it's like the $80 like college couch from Target. That's like,
Is it a futon? The little ones that you fold down?
yeah.
Okay.
I have a bed, but after a while, it's like I want to hang out in my room, and when
Hmm.
you live all the time, it's uncomfortable to like be on your laptop like that. But it's like just nice somewhere to sit down. We don't. It's literally we store our clothes on here. It's not really like we don't use it. What's supposed to like it's a storage spot, like a table. But Target, you know Target, man, $80.
Target 80 bucks. You can always like upgrade it. You can put like one of those like foam mattress like covers on it. What is it? The foam mattress toppers?
The like blow up couches.
No, like the foam, the Tempur-Pedic foam toppers that you can put on your bed. So like if you have like a memory foam like topper, so it's just like a sheet, but in but it's also built in like a memory a layer like an inch or two of memory foam,
Okay.
and you can put it over your mattress. So it'll make it like feel like a bed, but it's really just that little layer of foam on
Yeah.
top. So um,
Real quick, your audio is disappearing from me.
oh, life hacks. That's so weird. 1 second.
Hopefully, I'm not the only one. Everyone's like, "We talking about Chris?" Like, audio's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, my audio. Hold on. I think I know why. Okay, there you go. That's probably better, right?
You're better now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the audio with so on my fancy little headset here, there's a little like button that controls my mic output,
Okay.
and so like how sensitive it can be. I also have on the stream through my it's called Stream OBS. It's
Okay.
a open broadcasting system. You could adjust what the output is on your
Mhm.
audio. So if I'm talking too loud versus your voice coming out of the stream.
Oh, it's a
Um,
little mixer. That's cool.
yeah, a little mixer there. Perfect. Yeah, it's like that. So I have that on depending on if I'm in game chat or if I'm in like a regular Zoom room like this.
Yeah.
It's fucking complicated.
Yeah, and that's
Things.
why I was like, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, so that's what the other day I was like, hey, we gotta do a logistics call before actual podcast. Like, there's gonna be a lot of moving pieces on both our ends.
Yeah, lots. Things that you don't think about until you actually do it.
Yeah.
So, oh, that should have been a good tip. Just do it. Like, be like Nike and just do it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have the answers for everything and you just learn as you go. So don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It would be a good pro tip too.
What I appreciate your like I like the answer of like sometimes you just gotta literally build the tracks as you go. Like as the train is moving.
Hmm.
You know, oh fuck, I don't know what's going on and should I keep going? Should I just bail out? But after
Troubleshoot it. Yeah.
yeah, I like on live calls, it's just like, oh shit.
Build as you go. That's funny because when you ask me what do I do like on a daily basis, I honestly don't know what I'm doing until the day of. And it just somehow just my schedule just fills itself up. So even so before pandemic, I thought I was busy, but during the pandemic, I was extra busy. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's not it could be my high functioning anxiety, but it's just that I find little things that I find little gaps, and I feel like no one's talked about this yet. I'm gonna fill it in, okay, and it just builds
Yeah.
and it just stacks, and sometimes it gets overwhelming, but like yeah, just build as you go. I build my schedule as I go, and I'm very fortunate that my job allows me to do that and have that flexibility.
Yeah. That's cool though that you get that. I feel like that's great. Real quick, what's the third question? I thought that was the third question on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're thanks for
Wait a minute.
thank you for being down. Okay. Let's see. Whatever you do, enjoy it to the fullest. That is the secret of life. Oh, that's not even a question, but that's really cute. Like such a good reminder. Who said that. I don't want to name them just in case they're not comfortable, but yeah, live life to the fullest.
What does it live 1/4 mile at a time? Quarter mile at a time?
Live your life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aw, I learned something super super race car. I'm gonna go tell all my race car friends, all my car scene friends. I know what that means now. It's
Do you know? Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
oh no, no, go ahead.
So now that we're just doing right, I have a neighbor who's on his car is just big old writing, just Hentai Kings. Is that like a club, like a local San Jose club?
What is it? What does it say?
Hentai Kings?
Hentai Kings?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. It's probably in the same realm as like the anime car scene stuff. It's like a brand, a lifestyle brand. I could only speak to this because I have a friend that does it. His name is Kim.
Okay.
He runs a clothing brand, but also like car brand because he's an enthusiast himself, and it's called
Okay.
Senpai Squad. Um,
Okay.
senpai just are you familiar with that term, like senpai?
Uh, so let me take a stab at this. From my
Okay.
understanding, like old, like upperclassmen,
Yeah,
like
like an
older.
upperclassman, someone that you is in high and is held in high regards, right? So you
Okay.
call them as that's how you like address them out of respect. It's a very formal title. So you call them senpai. So senpai squad is just a league of extraordinary people that you call senpai. And so that comes from the cosplay scene. Like I mean, Japanese culture is very deeply ingrained in cosplay and anime. And then being in the car scene, a lot of people who are enthusiasts could like it's very intersectional. You can include that with the car folks. So like I'm not surprised that that hentai what is it?
Kings.
Hentai Kings Law.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look them up later and be like, how do I not know? I'm not saying that I know everything or people in the scene,
Yeah.
but I'm curious what they're about. And especially if they're local, like oh,
Yeah. That's what I was wondering because I feel like I think he had a buddy show up the other day and he also had the same sticker, but that one I could be wrong. Uh, yeah, we see him every day and we're like, who's this guy? Like, what?
Yeah, he's one of us. That's what what we say. It's like, when you see those identifying markers, like it's like a
Mhm.
band T-shirt, right? Like a T-shirt with a logo.
Yeah.
Depending, like this is Rolling Stones, right? So
Yeah.
like, depending on what it is, so people would resonate with them, and be like, oh, they're one of us. So that's what I get when I see like, what? Oh, someone said I wouldn't Google that hentai kings. Okay, maybe hentai king San Jose. Oh, I don't know. Oh,
Let's see.
should I look it up and share it with the folks on here?
Uh,
I'm gonna-
yes. I mean,
Okay.
if you're allowed to do that, I don't know, like if it messes up your brand, like smoking on camera or
I
drinking.
I don't care. The only restrictions would be Twitch. Okay. If I show no, I should pull it from a different screen just in case. I don't want to get banned from
Or if you don't
Twitch.
mind, maybe incognito.
Let's see. Hentai Kings San Jose.
It's just, yeah, it's not something like I.
Okay. No, not Google. Let me look up Instagram. Or just someone calling themselves Hentai King. And they're very proud of it, that title.
There is a
No,
hashtag.
no shame in your game. Oh, there is a hashtag.
Yeah, see, it's a bunch of cars.
But
Like
you're
it's
ah, okay.
it's
It's
like
a
a
car community. Interesting. Aw. And the first picture is the NSX. Like, or no, wait, no, that's a 240. I don't know anything about cars, but
sound
I
like
know about
it's
that because
I don't either.
I only know because of my friends with their cars. Um, my boyfriend says thanks for the intelligent and thoughtful perspectives on public health. Oh, you're welcome. Stop.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if you saw my message there about that. Yeah, you should totally do like this like John Oliver ish like show, but dedicated to like public policy. So the same kind of like satirical, straightforward, dry humor,
Mhm.
but on a in an educational kind of way.
Oh, really? I don't know who John Oliver is. Like,
Um, you seen
did, hmm?
last week tonight?
No, never heard of it.
Yeah. Has anyone seen it? Is it just me?
I could
Like,
ask the stream. Uh,
can I message you? I can message you on chat, right?
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
grab.
you could. Someone
I'll grab
said Google in incognito mode. First rank in Hentai Kings is Tenderfoot Tentacle. Damn,
What?
that's a name. So, someone first rank. Tenderfoot Tentacle. That sounds. The connotation that I get from that, I'm not saying that the words have a certain meaning attached to it. It's just whatever you filter it in as.
Mhm.
Sounds dirty. I got it. Oh,
I don't know if you're watching now, but so it's this like that's like a different scene.
okay. Everyone in the chat, I'm gonna paste it for them too, so they can have it if they were curious.
This last week tonight. I hope it's not. I wonder if it's. He has a different scene, so maybe like he changed it because of coronavirus. But oops, mute that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, season six. Sorry, I
Um,
want to play it during over the radio or
with
what?
a let's see the description with evictions set to rise due to the economic fallout caused by coronavirus. John Oliver discusses the long struggle with housing in the U.S., why it's gotten worse in recent months, and how to prevent an escalating crisis. Very on the nose stuff. How and is he local or is he just speaking just to?
No, he's um he's
Oh my God!
basically
Sorry,
what?
I just saw how many views he got. That's a lot.
Yeah, no, he's like Jimmy Kimmel kind of level kind of guy.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, I'll check it out.
Okay. Um.
Oh yeah, but thanks for the rec. I don't know if I'm that like knowledgeable to speak on topics. I I do have my own opinions on it, but I don't know if it's like if it would be held in any kind of regards to it because I'm not an expert in that area. All I can do is just bring it up and have it as a speaking point.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I like that recommendation. My humor is I don't think I'm funny. I'm but thank you for thinking that I'm
Yeah.
funny, Chris.
Yeah.
Like
And
yeah, yeah.
like the vibe I got, I don't know if you follow anything on Rooster Teeth, but it's like Ashley Jenkins of the No. You have a vibe of her,
Hmm.
but your humor reminds me of this John Oliver dude. And so it's
Oh,
like, I don't know, I'll YouTube that one too, and then I'll sign off because, you know,
wow. That's really high praise if I'm compared to this like awesome guy that's on like a national like platform or has a national recognition. So that's thank you for thinking so highly of me.
oh, she left the channel. You're welcome. So I'm looking her up, and I guess she's no longer on this show. So it's like drama.
Sorry, I'm waving. I'm waving to people that I know on the stream.
I'll tell myself.
Hi, John. Yeah, yeah. My buddy John here. If you're on, if you're into music, he DJs.
Oh,
Not just any type of DJ. Like radio, awesome DJ. He comes from a very good background of music and very knowledgeable.
mm-hmm.
Shout out to John for getting me to call Counter Strike 2, by the way.
Ask him if he wants to be on podcast, and I'll have him be a guest. I'll reach out to him. Or yeah,
You want to reach out to him? Dude, dope.
is he
Hey,
actually?
he's on stream right now.
Oh,
Yeah. Hey, John, if you want to get interviewed for a podcast, I would like to see that interview actually, because he,
good at humor. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you
uh,
this.
what's that?
I got you another link. Okay, so
Oh, thank you, thank you.
sorry, yeah, I'm still on it. These are two people. I was like, okay, you have the no kind of vibe, and you have the John Oliver vibe together.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you. I have the link and I also shared it on the chat with everyone. If you guys are curious, head over there. Thanks for sending me the links, by the way. And then John also said, "Hey, hit him up."
Okay, cool. I'll add that to my schedule. And I can,
Yeah, I'll send you his. John, is it okay if I send Chris your Instagram? So John, by the way, is a DJ and producer out of Vallejo. So he knows the Bay Area very well.
yeah.
Um, he's around the same age as me, so he's been around for a lot of the movements that have been going on, including like the hyphy movement,
Mm-hmm.
what it means to be a Bay Area local.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm really proud of his accomplishments, like growing from just some regular dude in
Mm-hmm.
Vallejo to where he is now. It's like, and he's such a humble dude. So I'll share you. This is really cool. Thank you so much. And you know. Don't feel obligated just because he's my friend.
Yeah, I have no problem. I mean, that's like, the idea is, and you kind of this is how you opened up the interview, right? It was like the Bay Area, or even like you get granular, like San Jose or specific communities.
Hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of artists here, and there's always been a lot of artists here, right? It's not like just C40, but because the Bay Area is more tech now, I feel like that shadows it. And so it's like not. And if you are doing art, it's like, oh, well, you're an artist in the Bay Area. What are you doing? Like, if you're working in tech. And I feel like that's getting. I don't. That's kind of one thing we have in the podcast, but I feel like it's cool to realize, man, there's a lot of great talent around here. It's just, needs to be talked about more, really
It's
highlighted.
Yeah, the artist industry is also getting gentrified. Just joking. No, I'm joking. Well, while we are spotlighted, being like Silicon Valley and being having all these awesome tech companies come in and creating jobs for folks, I wish it was jobs for the community and not jobs for transplants. Not to say that transplants are bad or anything like that. It's just it gives us a different kind of culture here. And you're
Mhm.
right, it gets overshadowed by that. Everyone thinks that we are so rich and everyone has like comes from wealth, but that's not the case.
Mhm.
When tech companies come in, of course that means the cost of living is higher, and it really marginalizes people that can't afford to live here, the locals, right? The ones that created the culture in the first place. So I think that it's not disappearing. I think it's just growing and adapting to the times. We really can't. We
Bring that
can't.
ass back like a boom,
Oh
boom,
shit!
boom.
Sorry. um, my stream has a sub. If you, it's really embarrassing, Chris, when you watch this later, because when thank you for subscribing, by the way. When someone subscribes to my channel, I have a little audio clip. It's Ash Ketchum from Pokemon twerking, and the music clip that goes along with it is Tiesto's "Boom,"
Okay.
and it was really loud, so I couldn't hear anything. But anyways, on the topic of like Bay Area culture, it's
Bring that ass
changed.
back like a boom, boom,
Fuck!
boom, boom.
Sorry, it happened again.
Can you adjust the mixer, or like, why is it?
um, for that, it's a widget. It's like you really have to adjust it in in the stream platform itself. I can't
Mhm.
change it right now. I could
Yeah.
turn off the alert box for now, but I don't want to because I feel like whoever subscribes to me, like they deserve that moment of
Yeah.
recognition. Like, thank you so much for subscribing to me.
Mhm.
Um, they don't have to. It's like I said, they work hard for it. Even if it's $5 your support, it means everything to keep it going, right? Just means
Mhm.
people want to watch me. So I want them to have that space.
Mhm.
But anyways, with Bay Area, Bay Area culture, you, you can't shun a community of techies away because they are now in they're here. Can't do anything about it. They're always going to be here.
Mhm.
So it's working with that community as well.
Mhm.
Eventually, I would want to do that because they do have a lot of money. I want them to. What I want to see is how they use it to uplift the people here, not
Mhm.
just not just stick to their own silos, but really how what can they do to give back to this area because of them there's a lot of like disparities that happen.
Mhm.
So how what can they do to address that? I think they have a responsibility to
Mhm.
the area. So Bay Area culture, man, not it's always been here. It's just maybe not as highlighted or visible because of everyone thinks entertainment is in LA, right? That's where you have to go. But you
Yeah.
don't have to go far for culture. San Jose has always been, I think that's why I really love San Jose. Everyone thinks that, oh, it's just on the way to SF, on the way to the
Uh,
city. It's just
yeah.
a drive-through town. Like, fuck that. San Jose is rich as fuck in history, culture, artistry, um, and it and the people that live here. You don't have to go far for culture. You
Mhm.
just live here. So I think I think it's a real privilege to live in such a diverse area. So
Mhm.
yeah, no, thanks for putting the highlight and spotlight on our community, Chris. And
Mhm.
so no, I really like what you do and the platform that you hope to bring this to. Um, yeah, no, I really fucks with what you do. um, so you're doing something that I would want to do. It's just to interview people, get to know the locals, what they're about. Uh, you're giving people that everyone has a voice, right? Not a platform. So you're doing that for them. So thanks so much for what you do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, hey, Beamy, I'm going to jump.
Okay.
We'll beam out of here. Unintended. Did you send me John's stuff? John, are we doing this? I think.
John is doing the hype train thing. And John's new to Twitch too. So it'd be cool to see what you guys do. Oh, John says let's talk. Um, it's really dope. If you guys ever need a space to meet, hit me up. I can provide you with the Zoom link, and you guys can do the interview if this works out for you.
Yeah. Now we got a lot of business to talk. I feel like me and you have a lot of ideas we've been talking about outside of this call. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Expect the
Yeah.
message.
I mean, I have it already, so it's useless to me if I have it and no one's using it.
Yeah.
So feel free to use it if you need.
Oh, dope is dope. All right, well, I'm gonna jump. Bye everyone. Thank you for sitting in on this. John, I'll talk to you soon. And well, no end. I guess. Okay, bye. I don't know how to exit from here. Help me.
You just
But I
you
know.
plug in shameless plug what you're about, when they can expect the video to come out, where they can find you. You want to give people a landing page to know what you're up to, but also somewhere they can contact you if they dig your stuff.
Oh, can I be shameless?
Of
That's okay.
course, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can type it in too, and then I can copy and paste it into the chat.
Yeah.
So
Let's be shameless. Let's do it.
do
That's,
it,
that's how you
do
get
it,
ahead
do
of.
it. Do it. I mean, that's the whole point of this, right?
Definitely.
Mhm.
Okay. Copy link.
Someone said Super Sled says say goodbye to me.
Super Sled.
Super Slade.
Super Slade.
Yeah.
Or Slade from Teen Titans. Slade. Or I'm just
Slade? Oh, that is Teen Titans Slade. The villain.
yeah. Teen Titans Slade.
Bye
By Teen
Slade.
Titans Slade was Super Slade.
Super Slade.
Oh, I'm so caught up on this. All right, man. Bye.
You're
Yeah,
look at that. You can start your own stream. You don't need me. You're good.
that was
You're
a good.
fine.
When I play Dark Souls, I cuss a lot.
You played Dark Souls? That's
That's,
gangster. That's a
that's
hard
a
game.
good, yeah, that's a good game. Right now I'm playing Doom. I like hard games. So if anyone knows any hard games that are not Dark Soulsy, because I don't want to be that guy, let me know. You can text me on Instagram. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna hit end now because
All
I'm
right.
rambling on.
No worry. That's okay. That's okay. We'll catch you next time, Chris. Maybe next time I can interview you.
I'm down. I like content. I will totally say yes. I like
All
talking.
right.
I'm ready for it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, bye everyone. Talk soon.
Bye, Chris. Have a good
Bye.
night.